Hey, vinyl community, Joe here. The Vinyl Narrative put out a vinyl thread. I believe this was a thread. I don't know if it is or isn't. Either way, I'm doing it. Five records I'll never sell, either based off of sentimental value or actual value or rarity of the record itself. So I thought it was a pretty cool little video that he done. So I wanted to jump on it. Like I said, I believe it was a thread. I think he made it a thread. Either way, I'm doing it. So I began to think today. I watched this video this morning, began to think about five records that I'll never sell. And never is a tough word because I might sell the records. I might sell these five, but as I'm sitting here today, I don't think I'd ever sell them. But is there a possibility? Yeah, I would say there would be a possibility. Yes, but these are some of my prized possessions. And they would be tough. They would be very tough to sell. So my first pick is the first record I ever purchased, which was, let's see, 4 years ago now. 4 years ago, Bob Dylan, "Blood on the Tracks," and this is not even a first pressing of this. This is just a modern reissue. The deal is I couldn't stand Bob Dylan growing up, and um, as I got older and began to really dive into his music, I really started enjoying his music. And like I said, 4 years ago, I did not have a record player. I'd never played a record, never owned a record player, never held a record in my life. Grew up in a home with CDs and cassettes and mostly now modern, streaming music. But like I said, 4 years ago, started getting into records and music, physical format again, and rediscovered Bob Dylan. Really started turned my hatred into couldn't stand him into my favorite solo artist. And this album in particular has just some tremendous songs on it. "Tangled Up in Blue," "Simple Twist of Fate," "You're a Big Girl Now," "Idiot Win," "You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go." And side two opens up. I'm a blues fan, so side two opens up with "Meet Me in the Morning." Very short, simple, but one of my favorite Dylan songs. Finishes out the album with "Lily of Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts," "If You See Her Say Hello," "Shelter from the Storm," and "Buckets of Rain." Like I said, fantastic album. You know, I think it was a 30. Like I said, it's a reissue. Maybe it was $30. So it's not an expensive first pressing. With the hype or with the shrink and all that stuff. But I'll probably never sell this because, like I said, I didn't when I purchased this album. Did not have a record player, and not long after this, my mama, who has passed on now, purchased me my first record player. So this is an album I'm gonna hold on to. So that's my first one of the ones I'll never sell. Second one is the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East, and I can't tell you how many times I've shown this album. One of my favorite albums, and this is one of my prized possessions. This is a white label DJ copy of this album. Great cover artwork. Um, just a fantastic live blues album from some guys from my home state. Really happy to have this. Found this in person. I've yet to see another one with those hype stickers on it. I don't know if somebody tried to take those off or what the deal was, or somebody took it off, changed their mind, put it back on. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. I have it now, and it's going to stay with me. Like I said, white label promo. Fantastic album. One of my favorite albums. So that's my second one. First, Bob Dylan, "Blood on Track." Second, Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East. The next is, again, I'm a blues guy, so we got Muddy Waters, "Electric Mud." Uh, this came out 1968 on Cadet, and it came with a little photo booklet. And I know a lot of times when you find this, you don't have the photo booklet with it. And I can't remember which ones, if the white cover is more rare or the black cover is more rare. Sometimes I hear both. Um, I like both covers. I only have this one. I would like to try to find the another the one in the cover in white. It's got the iconic gatefold, and I also have the little, I don't know. I'm sure if you know this album, you know about this photo booklet that comes in it. I found this album in person, and and it came with the booklet. I think at the time I was unaware of the photo booklet. I was just aware of the album. Muddy Waters is one of my favorite blues guys, and it's on the Cadet Concept label. So that's my third entry. Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. And then you got the Allman Brothers Live at the Fillmore East. And then you have Muddy Waters, Electric Mud, with the psychedelic backing band of the Rotary Connection. My fourth is this test pressing. One of my favorite modern bands is the Black Keys. Just their blues infused sound. I know most of their albums are very unique. Most of their albums don't sound like the other ones. I like more of their stuff like Delta Cream, Brothers, El Camino. I like more of that along those lines. Their newest album's good. I enjoyed it. But this is a test pressing of Brothers. Probably one of one of my favorite albums of theirs. I really got into that album, and that's how I got into going into a deep dive of theirs. And this is, from what I can gather, this is a test pressing of the Record Store Day version of Brothers that came out in 2010. It includes a 10-inch, 45 RPM EP of, I believe, live songs. And then it's a double disc, 45 RPM double disc of Brothers, the Black Keys. Brothers from 2010, pressed. Here, I'll show you one of them. It says Black Keys Brothers, 45 RPM. It says manufactured in Germany, just white label, just says test pressing. And I have played it many times. It sounds fantastic. Honestly, I didn't know, which I wasn't collecting records in 2010. I was unaware of a Record Store Day version of this that included, I think it included a CD as well, along with the 10-inch EP. But this is one of my prized possessions. I would have a very hard time selling this. Fantastic. I have Brothers, and this just blows the doors off of the studio album I have of this. And this 10-inch EP is very fun too. Very, like I said, 45 RPM. It sounds fantastic. And I don't know if you could do this, it's not a contest. There's no necessarily any rules or anything, so I'm not breaking any rules. But my last entry is another Dylan. And like I said, when I started diving deep into Dylan's discography, the one album that I was drawn to was Blonde on Blonde, and specifically the album cover, the photos on the inside. I call it the girlfriend cover, the one with Claudia, I believe is her name, is on the inside of the cover. That originally it came out and said that she didn't want her photo, she didn't give permission for her photo to be used, so along those lines, and her photo was removed and some other photos were included. So I set on a quest. I was like, I want to find the girlfriend cover, and I want it to be mono. So about a year ago, I think maybe about this time last year, every day I go to some certain local stores in my area, always looking for records, CDs, cassettes. It doesn't matter. And just happened to go in one day and found a good assortment of records, and I just started digging through them. And I found this next record along with quite a few other records, and I just stacked them up because there's quite a few people in the store, and I didn't want to be right in the way. So I got my bundle of records and went off to the side, and I pulled up through the bin, Blonde on Blonde. So I was like, yes. So I just grabbed the cover. Like I said, it was open. You know, there was no plastic wrap on the cover itself. So I opened it up. You know, girlfriend cover, check. So then I pulled the records out, and lo and behold, the records are still sealed. They were in these plastic inner sleeves that had perforations at the top, and they had not been torn open. So I checked both records were both of the discs were in there, and they had never been opened. And this thing is stone cold, other than the dust on it there. This thing is stone cold mint. And mono, it sounds fantastic. Some of my friends were blown away. It's like, you opened it? I would have sold it and bought a reissue. I was like, no, this thing belongs to me. It was sent to me by the, if you will, the vinyl gods, and it found its way to me, and I cherish this. The cover's in great shape. Other than just a few, I don't know, there's some pin, like something was stapled there. I really don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, both records are in beautiful shape. But those are my entries. You got Blood on the Tracks, #1, Bob Dylan. You got the Allman Brothers Live at the Fillmore East. You got Muddy Waters' Electric Mud, came out in 1968. And then you got the Black Keys, the Record Store Day test pressing, I believe. And then the Bob Dylan Blonde on Blonde 1966 mono that I found with the records still sealed, never opened. Those are my 5 records that I'll probably never sell. They're sentimental to me. There's some value. I mean, the Blonde on Blonde and the test press are probably the most expensive, and the Whipping Post, that's a pricey record as well. But to me, it's more sentimental value over the actual value of the records. And really, I'll be honest with you, when I start looking at my personal collection, when I focus more on the actual value of the record, the money value of the record, records really start losing the true value to me, and that's the joy that I get out of listening to them, and the excitement and sharing them with other people. So that's the value that I focus on more than the money value. But these are the 5. These are the 5 that I'll probably never sell. And again, I want to thank the Vinyl Narrative. I'm going to put his information down at the bottom in the description below so that you can give him a follow as well. And maybe you would like to participate in this. I've watched a few of these videos today. I look forward to seeing more too. It's interesting to see the different takes from people's own personal collections of albums that they would not sell. Again, my name's Joe. Thanks for joining me tonight.